What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Chair League Division 1 Grand Finals. I'm Zexorus, and with me tonight is the man with the best couch in the casting game. It's Halorin himself. Thank you so much for joining us tonight and taking time away from the frustration that is known as Cuphead.
I appreciate that, man. Thanks. I'm excited to be here. Share League's where I got my start casting. I'll always try to check it out when I can. I didn't get to cast too much this season, but when you asked me if I could jump in for the finals, I was like, yeah, man, this will be a lot of fun. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I've been promised we're going to get some squirrely drafts out of the team that is probably, I would say, favored to win tonight, and Ricks are for kids. They went through the regular season undefeated. I've only seen them drop one map this whole season, which is actually pretty impressive. ADEZ got the better of them last week with a Tracer Tassadar pick, and they didn't respect it, and they got clobbered for it. So that Tracer never made an appearance afterwards. So Ricks for Kids definitely taking this a bit more seriously since it is the grand finals. But after the game tonight, stick around for a little bit longer. We do have a big announcement for us, at least, afterwards, involving plans for the off season of Chair League. So we hope you stick around for that. We're pretty excited for it. I've been putting a lot of work into this, but let's talk about the game coming up. We've got Battlefield of Eternity. I love this map. I love this as a first map.
I think it's a really cool battleground. You learn a lot about how a team likes to prioritize the rotations. This is a two-lane battleground, and there's something to be said for the nuance on knowing when to go for the Immortal, when to defend against your own. Is this a situation where you send all 5 members of your team to push with the Immortal? Is this an instance where you have someone go off and soak the off lane? Or does your entire team go to the off lane and let the Immortal just handle its own devices in the other lane? In Division 1, I imagine we would see some practice strategies and a plan executed here. So I'm curious to see how it plays.
Yeah, I am too. It's a really good first map to feel your opponents out on. You'll notice certain things like if they're kind of slow on rotations and whatnot, how they coordinate defenses and things of that nature. And you usually can. There's a saying in the fighting game community that the first round is always data, and this is a really good map to gather data on your opponents on. So teams are seeing if they're ready. Looks like everybody is ready to go. I'm excited for this draft. Ricks are for Kids versus Solus Black here for the Division 1 Thursday Night Heroes Chair League Finals. Thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate you guys so much for joining us.
Here we go. First game. Now, like you said, Solus Black, they haven't lost a match all season, right?
Correct. They went through the regular season just completely undefeated. And they were going up against teams like Golden Mishas. That was the first game we got to cast with Rixer for Kids. And that's where they really impressed us, because they kind of just rolled them. It wasn't one of those things where it was like, oh, it's a back and forth. And no, they clobbered them pretty bad. So, and Misha is already trying to be a serious dorm team at this juncture. You know, for them to get kind of clobbered like that is kind of a wake-up call. You know, hey, what's going on? So,
well, I know a thing or two about Heroes of the Dorm. When you said Golden Mishas, I immediately recognized that team name. So if Solus Black are able to take it down a team of that caliber, they definitely know how to play the new game Hero Storm. But in this draft, see a garage band first, followed swiftly by the mouthfeel. I get it.
Yeah, the garage band always, like, he's just so terrifying in the early game. Like, he punishes pushes just so hard. You get any melee up in there, and they're at risk of just instantly getting chucked over a wall. You know? And early game, that's kind of really, really annoying to deal with, especially if it's someone like your solo laner. And then you've gotta adjust the rest of the early game to compensate for that loss in lane pressure. So, but in the Mouth IL ban, it's meta.
Which team's on the right again?
It should. Let me double check here. It is going to.
I know they all have murky portraits.
That'd be Rixer. Rixer for Kids are the blue team, and Solus Black is the red team.
Okay. So Solus Black, actually, they were the team. Okay, so they. Ooh.
Yeah, that's yeah. Let's. Yeah.
So Solus Black, they have a couple of interesting things going for them in this instance. I feel like they're an unknown team to Rixar for Kids, and in that they could use their anonymity to surprise their opponents, come up with some kind of off-the-wall strategy or draft the Rixar for Kids may not be ready for. But the ETC Stukov is pretty utilitarian. It's kind of hard to bungle a draft at that point with those two heroes.
Yeah, it's definitely difficult. ETC just... I love how he just phased out of the meta for no reason at all, and then just came back for no reason at all. Like, it's like people just forgot ETC's still good, guys. He never really went away. His trait just changed up just a bit. But Stukov is like the most annoying support to deal with right now. He does so much healing. He has so much utility in team fights and everything like that. Even pushing, like dropping that lurking arm in front of a gate is just so annoying because you got to walk through the silence to get to him.
I really like that start. For Rixar for Kids. Ooh. Okay. So they're definitely going for hyper carry. Vala's going to have to do a lot of work this game if they want to really get value out of prioritizing Tassadar and Morales that early. But I like the Stukov pick a lot for Rixar for Kids because when you ban Garrosh, what you're saying is you don't want to deal with having to worry about your positioning past a certain point. Garrosh is one of the best heroes to really punish someone being out of position. Stukov definitely poses problems himself when it comes to positioning. If he lands that tickle arm on a Morales or Tassadar at the right moment, that's the difference between a power slide landing or the dimensional shift going off. That's going to have a huge impact in these team fights.
We see the Anubrak band follow up, and that's honestly a really good way to counter ETC. He's got, essentially, if he takes a web wrap, he's got 3 disables for a mosh pit. So you definitely don't want that on the board, and I'm expecting Solus Black to probably ban that, maybe an Uther ban, or some other, or a Greymane ban.
Well, they already see Stukov on the other side of the screen, so with the Greymane hover, I definitely understand why you'd ban that hero out. He's one of the better heroes in the game right now to burn down the Immortal. and they're gambling on Stukov might be the only support. Remains to be seen. They're going to switch over to the Kel'Thuzad. As far as worrying about positioning goes, you definitely don't want to get yanked out by old 2 Chains, but they ultimately land on Kael'thas.
I love that you called him 2 Chains. I love it. Like I call Kael'thas the OG KT, and then I call Kel'Thuzad 2 Chains. So
there you go.
But yeah, that's a really good band. KT able to just put out a lot of damage. And if he goes... Ooh. Okay, so Rixer for Kids going for the protection on ETC right there. That's how I see this playing out. They've definitely done the Mosh Divine Shield combo before. It's one of their favorite team fight control tactics. So this could be based on what I know for Rix for Kids, this could be a solo tank ETC. And they're going to maybe follow this up with some more damage.
I think with what they're showing in the draft right now, they've almost confirmed a solo warrior composition. Leoric's still out there. I think what they're needing now is a solo laner. Unless they go for a damage dealer that has a real exclamation point, I'm not sure what argument could be made to have Greymane solo lane as opposed to taking someone that has some form of self-sustain. But with this setup, much like how Soulless Black are weighing everything on Vala, I feel like Greymane's going to have to do a lot of work for their team. And it could have a pretty tough time in a Diablo Dahaka.
That is a violent front line right there. And I've always loved Diablo. Then there they go with the Alarak again. They love Alarak. They try to pick they try to pick him as much as they can. This is not a shocker to me. The first time it was like, what? Alarak? Really? But they have a very, very strong Alarak player. So, but here we go. Game 1, Rixer for Kids versus Soulless Black in the grand finals of Thursday Night Chair League. Here we go. I think this Diablo Dahak is really going to give him fits.
Well, a lot's going to be on Diablo to set up the engagement for their team that has Soulless Black in a position where they dictate the terms of the rest of the team fight. Because if they don't get that kill and or kill potential right out of the gate, dealing with Power Slide, Telekinesis into Stukov's silence on top of Alarak's own silence with Discord Strike, and Greymane's a hero, that's a lot of displacement in time where they're not going to be able to press buttons. And they don't really have the comp to handle that. Like no Morales heal, no Tassadar shield, no dimensional shift. That can get rough.
Yeah, it's rare the times you actually get to say Focus Morales is the actual strat here. So here we go. On the side of Rix are for Kids, we've got Squirrel Sean rocking the ETC. Zergling on the Alarak. Mitchy D's on the Greymane. Dementia is rocking the M Bison. And Dan Clan is on the Uther.
On the right side, we have the members of Soulless Black. Plan of Actions playing Dahaka. The Penguins on Morales. Domtrocity is playing Tassadar. Back Dem, well played, is on Vala, and Zeramis is playing Diablo.
Gotta appreciate the Final Fantasy IV reference right there. So, got a party in the middle. Got a party in the middle.
This team.
Oh, jeez. Okay, so that was a kill.
Ow. So Tassadar with the swift deletion. It's going to be the first takedown less than 30 seconds into the game. A shot across the bow, to say the least, from Rix for Kids.
Yeah, that was definitely quite the burst damage coming out of Rixer for Kids right there. We see up top, we see Plan of Action having his hands full between this Uther and Greymane duo lane. That's the kind of lane I fear as a tank player myself.
From a raw number standpoint, the onus is definitely going to be on Soulless Black to get something happening down in this bot lane. They have the numbers here. As long as they decide to keep this 1-4 against the 2-3, They don't get anything happening down here. That's just going to be a lot of siege damage they take on the chin up top. And right now, they're just kind of playing passively. I think that early takedown on Tassadar has really inspired some passive play out of him.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that makes you nervous for the rest of the game. Nice slide in there from Squirrel Sean. As we head top, we see Domstrosity rotating into the top lane to give this Dahaka some assistance, as the push from Rixer for Kids have just been too strong at this moment. But, ooh, in the bottom lane, we see that the Morales has gone down. Noticing that Tassadar was no longer there, they decided to press the advantage as the Immortals now spawn.
These early takedowns do not bode well for Soulless Black. Morales has to be hanging back by their towers pretty much while Diablo and Bala hang out there. Otherwise, they're going to find themselves back at base more often than not. Nice power slide goes in on Vala. They're able to get around the corner there. The Stukov silence having an impact. Nice shadow charge from Zeramis. Trying to apply pressure to Squirrel Sean, but it's all Jazz hands. They lost out half their movie.
Yeah, halftime show begins, and Squirrel Sean's still alive. At this point in the game, it just kind of feels like that Soulless Black is kind of lacking in the damage department, with Vala going this right-click build at the moment.
Not what you would expect at all on this battleground. You take Vala on this map for the key damage, and you see Zeramis on the ropes is going to go down. The drag from plan of action displays CTC for the moment. Morales is left out to dry as Domtrosity hits the E key and dimensional shifts out of there. This is not going well for Soulless Black.
Yeah, no, this is they're giving up a near full health Immortal right out the gate. So knowing Ricks for Kids, they're still up a talent tier at this point. So it's very, very possible that they could push this for a early fort.
Got plenty of mana and resources to do it, but Mitchie D is actually low on mana up top. They commit only 3 members for this push with such a healthy shield and such an advantage. I'm a little surprised, but they are going to get value off of it. Dahaka gets overwhelmed 1v2. Dinosaur goes down. Zeramis tries to get something going for his team. Telekinesis missed, but the stun from the Immortal is going to have an impact. Diablo runs away, tail between his legs, but the Penguin on Morales is there to stay.
That TK actually hit. He pulled him back into that Immortal stun. That was just a filthy heads-up play right there. Yeah, and like I said, there's still plenty of health on this Immortal, and there's not a lot that Soulless Black can really do to stop this push. Another TK pull into a Discord strike with that Immortal stun, and Diablo is in a fair bit of trouble. And with this creep wave right here, they're definitely going to get this this bottom fort. So huge amount of value right there.
Rixer for Kids tip their hat to come away with the bottom fort, and they get a generous amount of damage putting in up top. Paves the way for a level and a half lead. The struggles right now that Soulless Black are facing are in a lot of ways their own. I'm really looking at this Vala build. Hot Pursuit and Creed of the Hunter on Battlefield of Eternity is a real head scratcher for me. You're effectively looking for a late game Vala comp in a game where you've been struggling so hard early on that you lose both your forts less than 5 minutes in. They might not get a chance to complete this quest, Zex.
I don't think they will. Like I said, they're going hard on this top camp, and they really need to at this point. They need to push. They need to get a kill. They need to get some momentum back in their favor, and even just taking this camp. But we see Rixer for Kids collapsing on plan of action, in a lot of trouble. A heal from Morales, just not going to be enough right there, and he eventually goes back to the hatchery. No, Zeromus is in a lot of trouble. The heals from the Morales doing some work, but the silence pulls the heal off of him, and Mitchie D decides to disengage on out of there, and Rixer for Kids end up taking that top camp. So
there's so much harassment and displacement in Rixer for Kids basic comp that or base kits. It's just going to be extremely difficult for Soulless Black. They need to find a pick somehow. They're not going to do it getting isolated and hit with telekinesis like this. Vala just barely getting away with a scrap of health. A close call, to say the least.
And they're going to take this Summoner camp right here, taking the aggressive camp, and I mean, really, at this point, if you're Solus Black, how do you deal with this? You're a full 2 levels down. Squirrel Sean is just riding the train all over your face at the moment, and I mean, they're not even focusing on the Immortal at this point. They see the advantage. They get another kill on the Dahaka just now, and they're probably going to go for this fort or this keep.
They have no reason to leave right now. They're getting all kinds of damage in. Vala has to run away like their hair's on fire. Morale is standing there or not. Level 10s are online for Ricks or for Kids. Anytime there's any sort of engagement, Zex, all you see is stunned in silence over the head of the next person getting taken down. This coordination is sick right now from Ricks or for Kids.
The counter-strike goes on to Vala, takes off about half her health, and they get that fort for pretty much free at this point. Strosity doing really the only thing he can do at this point and split pushing the lane, trying to get some experience. But Ricks are for Kids are just, there's really no reason for them to stop, like you just said.
I mean, less than 7.5 minutes in, they're knocking on the core right now. They have no reason to leave. It's 11-8. Heroics are nowhere near in sight for Solus Black, and they've demonstrated no proficiency in setting up a solid engagement for their comp. Vala almost gets taken down again before Diablo even gets involved. Divine Storm goes out, then there's the sneak off paint rush for the disengaged. This is absolute Zexing game.
Yeah, this one is pretty much done. At this point, there's real no way for Solus Black to stop this. Squirrel Sean gets taken to Suplex City for the 1 kill for Solus Black just now, and that is game 1 in the books.
Very dominant start to things for Ricks or for Kids. I feel like conceptually, Solus Black they had too many things going at odds with each other. You take the Vala on this battleground, and the initial thoughts are always going to be, all right, cool. Like, they're going to go for the Q build, and now it'll help them out with the Immortal race. They end up going for the auto attack build. And that's a build that generally comes online and gets most of its value towards the mid and late game. But you have Diablo, a hero that excels at early level aggression. So you have this front line that wants to attack at level 1 to get the most value then, and a main damage dealer that's like, well, come see me around level 13, 16, because then I'll start hitting like a freight train. Meanwhile, we're losing heroes in every engagement at the beginning of the game. Like I said, Vala never got to complete that quest. They just need to pick one thing that they want to do. If they're going for a late game comp, take all heroes that accent that. Yeah. Or if they want to go all in, they want to go Diablo. They need to have more damage on their comp.
Yeah, they didn't get to pick ultimates. Just to kind of lay a point on that. I mean, never mind it's like Allen Iverson practice. We're talking about practice here. So, like heroics. We're talking about heroics. Yeah. So we're just waiting now at this point for the next lobby to pop up. But yeah, this is with the information I gave you earlier before the game started. This is about how I expected it to go. Solus
Black would have to dig pretty deep if they're going to look for an upset here. Ricks are for Kids. They haven't dropped the match all season. They definitely showed why game 1. If I'm Solus Black, I'm looking to take the battleground of my choice. Whatever battleground my team feels most comfortable on, where it feels like it's home base, go there, do something that's well within their comfort zone, and then just try to go from there. Prioritizing first pick, they could find themselves again on a battleground where they just don't seem to really. I'm not sure if they didn't understand the merits of the battleground, or I'm not too sure where they were going with that. Again, like I said, the Vala build and the Diablo frontline are just completely at odds with each other. So I just think they need to go to a map that they understand, they know how to build a comp around, and for, and to an extent, just kind of ignore what Ricks are for Kids are doing. Like, just play something that's 100% within their comfort zone, and try to play like that. Anything else, I think we're gonna have another short game.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I completely agree with that 100%. They definitely need to pick something they're comfortable on. Like me, if I'm not sure, I kind of just default to Chen. Try Chen, best fun hero for me. And there's really like you just gotta go. That was such a dominant. I keep stumbling over my words because I don't know how to put that contextually without coming off as insulting. You know, it was.
I mean, there's no two ways around it, Zex. Like they got bodied. They just did. And if Soulless Black want to turn this around, look for a game 3. They effectively they just have to forget game 1 even happened. They derive from it what they can, but they can't allow that to dishearten them. They are a team. There are 5 human beings that coordinate and play Heroes of the Storm together. Mm-hmm. And if they just stay within their comfort zone, do something that they can, just reflexively pull off, they'll have their best shot at a game 3. Otherwise, it could very well go the same way.
Yeah. Well, the next map we're going to be on is Infernal Shrines, another personal favorite of mine. Personally, as a tank player, lots of fun can happen on this map. Diablo and Chen, 2 of my favorite heroes. There's just lots of nonsense that can happen here. So let's get it on. The teams are ready to go. I'm going to hit my button. And here we go.
Now, I noticed that Soulless Black have first pick, first ban. So they decided not to go for the battleground of their choice. Thankfully, Infernal Shrines is one of the most universally understood battlegrounds. Compared to Battlefield of Eternity, there are a lot of nuances on Battlefield that you don't really have to worry about on Infernal Shrines. The most strategy you can really pull off is like going for the Bruiser camp if the next shrine phase is going to be about a portion of the map. But for the most part, Zex is just a call to action. Show up at this one portion of the map, go for this objective, duke it out, and see who comes out on top. And in that could play to Soulless Black's potential strengths.
Very, very much so. The Penguin has accidentally left. Cut back to us real quick and press F to pay respects. So yeah, you're like you were saying, like they just. I think they'll have a much better time if they try just to play the map rather than play the team. Sometimes you can get a lot more success by playing for the objectives and almost avoiding the other team rather than what they tried last game and just going at them full face. I see you're trying to call a cat over.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a rowboat to come over here.
Where is Henry Hatercat Meowington's the 8th? He's usually around here somewhere. That is my cat's name. Okay, take 2. Here we go.
Comes over right as
He's a cute cat. I like it.
Oh, rowboat.
That's awesome.
All right. He's a crazy one.
My cat is probably the laziest cat on history. Nothing gets him excited. Except for twist ties.
Oh, wait. So they did pick the map, I guess, because now it's...
Ricks are for kids.
Oh, yeah. So they did go to a comfort area. I really like that for Soulless Black. The Stukov ban is something of a surprise. I guess Ricks are for Kids is like, well, we know what we can do with this hero. We don't plan on going for him this time, and we don't feel like getting hosed by him ourselves. So let's just ban him out.
Yeah, that's a really smart ban because there's lots of choke points on this map, and wherever there's a choke point that teams have to enter in, like the Immortals spots, the Shrine spots, like on here, Dragonshire, like Stukov just gets a massive amount of value. And then we see they don't want to deal with that ETC again. And here comes Morales, a first pick Morales.
This is definitely a statement to the potential psyche of Soulless Black. So Stukov gets banned out. ETC gets taken off the board. ETC had a huge impact, to say the least, last go-round. Soulless Black don't want to deal with all that. But for Rixer, for the kids to take Morales first, after making Morales look as ineffective as she ultimately ended up being last game, that is a clear statement saying, all right, you didn't do too hot with Morales last go-round. Let's show you what you can really do with this hero.
No cat. Yeah, exactly. No cat. That's not a good spot to walk on. He's looking at my audio mixer thinking it's a pretty cool thing to walk across. That's not good. So, but yeah, we see the Ariel and Gul'dan. That's a pretty... Ariel's definitely fallen off here after her nerfs, but like she's still a really effective battery for Gul'dan. There won't be any shortage of hope through the Dread Warlock. Ooh.
Ooh. Spicy.
Now what I'm curious about is this going to be a grenade build, Ana, or is this going to be a burst heal build, Ana? Or with the sleep dart and the range extend and stuff like that. So that's going to be really interesting to see how this Ana gets played, because what I'm thinking is going to happen is they're going to take the spell power reduction talent on Ana and just keep pegging Gul'dan with it, because 5 stacks on Gul'dan means he does 75% less damage with his spells.
Which is going to have a 2-pronged effect, because they've got 3 supports right now, and Ariel needs damage out of somebody to be able to keep anybody alive. So that's going to have an impact. The Greymane will get banned out, but Zex, I genuinely would not be surprised if we saw Cho'Gall around his compound for Rixer for Kids.
And Dementia on the...
Oh, they banned Cho. What?
This is a common theme with them. They ban Cho or Gall a lot. And it's usually... I don't want to say it's a taunt, but it's a taunt.
Well, I've seen plenty of teams in the community and amateur scene that definitely play Cho'Gall to a level of effectiveness to where I'd be terrified of him. But if this is more a statement ban than anything else, it further speaks to the confidence that Rixer for Kids rightfully should have. I mean, they really walked through game 1, so they have to feel like they can take almost any composition here and be able to do well.
Okay.
And with 3 supports to start out, and Raynor.
God.
Okay.
I was promised a wonky draft. We're getting it. It's a triple support, Raynor. What? They've got to pick a tank. There's no way they're not
I was
going
about to say
tankless.
it's triple so far.
If they pick a Lily, I'll laugh. I'll just start. I won't be able to keep a straight face this cast.
Dude. If they go for Lily,
Quad support, bully, damage Lily.
dude, don't sleep on DPS Lily.
Oh, no, she's one of the worst bullies in the game. Like, you can't... The Pandas are the best solo laners in the game. Like, Chen... Oh, my God. What? What? This is so...
Soulless Black, you can't go out like this. Even Mega Man fan had to get involved. Yes.
Oh.
Wow.
Rix, what are you doing? Stop. All right, so it's a double tank. It's a double bruiser essentially. I've never really considered Tyrael a main tank. He's always been a bruiser type for me, but they've got ways to deal with this comp, because I don't suspect Gazlo will be showing up that often. So they're going to have the team fight advantage. It's just the problem of they've got all that healing on a guy with a self-heal.
Well, the real interesting quandary with this setup, if you're on a Silo Soulless Black, it's like, all right, cool, we'll just dive on Ana. She can't heal herself. Morales is there. All right, well, I guess we'll just jump on Morales. It's not like she can really heal herself. Ana pretty much has the same level of single target sustained healing. And then on top of that, you have Rhaegar with Ancestral Healing as well.
Yeah, like
as cheese as this is, Zex, I really struggle to see how kills are going to happen for Soulless Black.
I have no idea, but we're going to introduce the right side first. On the side of Soulless Black, we've got plan of action on the Gul'dan, the Penguin on the Ariel, Domstrosity on the Lucio, Zeromus on the Tyrael, and Factum on the Sonya.
Over on the left side, looking to close this series out, we have Ricks Are For Kids. Dan Clan is playing Morales. Zergling is on Anna. Mitchie Deeds is playing Gazlo. Ordered the one-man Wrecking Crew. Squirrel Showings on Rainer. And Dementia be taking a bite out of crime on Rhaegar.
And here we go. Boy, this is going to be such a weird game. Like... I want to see these Gazlo talents. Break it down, taken at level 1, because it's so rare we get to talk about Gazlo talents, if I'm honest.
Yeah, there's a really good reason for that. Ricks Are For Kids haven't really wasted any time. They get an entire tower for free with 0 response from Soulless Black, who find themselves flat-footed to the early siege pressure. That's not how you want to start this game.
That's going to be... This is so annoying to deal with, but here comes Zeromus up from behind, using the Eldarin's Might to get in on Squirrel Sean, but, oh, hi, I've got 2 healers behind me. How are you going to damage me?
I was about to say, Rainer could even stand there and eat the tower shots with Morales and Anna standing there. I don't see their health bar moving off of just Tyrael and Ariel alone. Gul'dan made a brief appearance, but without any pressure there, they're just leaving 3 people to push bot near forever. That's going to be a problem.
And Dementia did take a fair bit of damage in the mid lane, but here comes the rotation from Soulless Black. The Penguin hitting the Discord Strike. Doesn't connect on a wall, though. Zeroma's trying to get on Squirrel Sean's face as Anna puts the Warlock to sleep. And they just kind of disengage from there and head back to the lanes.
I mean, Soulless Black rotated down, plan of action. I feel like they could have taken a more aggressive angle, Ariel as well, to get that Tamer Strike to send them closer towards the bottom fort. But even if that happened, there's just so much sustain in the bottom lane right now. I don't know if Gul'dan's going to be enough, but Tyrael finds itself super low on health, is able to get out of there with just a sliver. The Penguin comes back, throws out the Tamer Strike, misses. 2 low health bars on the side of Soulless Black, who find themselves scratching their heads, trying to figure out how to get a kill.
And plan of action getting dangerously low right there. He needs to be careful. The stunning shot from Rainer, it has a deceptive range. So, but we see Sonya and Lucio coming in to bully Dementia off this middle shrine. Seems that the score just can't really update the score at this point. I did do what I was supposed to for the scoreboard to update. Just doesn't seem to want to do its job. So sorry about that, guys.
Well, Ricks Are For Kids are up 1 in this best of 3, and they're showing why with the first blood of the game on Ariel's face. And they're going to help themselves to a bottom fort as well. This comp, Zex, is undeniably cheesy.
Oh, yeah. It is, I mean...
And yet, it is effective enough to where you got to feel bad for Soulless Black because they banned ETC. ETC would have been the... ETC or maybe a Nubrak would have been one of the few warriors that could have really had an engagement and disrupted this. But the Tyrael pickup, like you said, more bruiser than tank. No real lockdown, no long-term stuns. So all that healing's almost guaranteed to happen. I don't see how they get kills that way.
I don't really see it either, but Sonya has decided to go take that summoner camp at the top. Soulless Black just 1 defender away from getting that Punisher, so it's pretty much theirs for the taking at this point. Really, Ricks Are For Kids don't care about that. They're just going for towers, going for forts, going to push that early game advantage. They're already a talent tier up on Soulless Black, and they don't seem to be slowing down anytime soon.
I commend the idea of establishing macro pressure. You have 39 defenders. That Punisher is effectively yours. You're down a talent tier. Why not wait? Get the Bruiser camp as well. But I'm not sure if the execution and follow-up is going to get them the value that they're looking for. The grenade goes out, knocks back plan of action. 4 members of Soulless Black hanging around here. They outnumber the people of Rixar kids in the mid lane right now, but they decide not to collapse.
Yeah, they show up towards the bottom lane to get that wave cleared out and maybe push Dementia off just a bit. But in the middle lane, Gul'dan probably caught out of position just a bit, gets put down the sleeping dart onto Ariel. Lets her dream about hope for a little bit at least. And then Sonya comes down onto Zergling right there, hits the spin to win. But you got healers healing healers at this point.
Like I said, that Ana Morales quagmire is going to be really difficult or Soulless Black to do anything about. The Poison Spear land on Zergling. Ana, a low health pool hero, and their health bar barely even moved. A lot of damage is going in on Squirrel Sean, but look at that. His health bar immediately rises back up after the sleep. And then at the end of it, now it's Sonya on the ropes, just barely getting saved by Arya.
Yeah, that talent of Ana, or that trait of Ana Shrike, is just getting just a huge amount of value with all the heals on this team. Like, she's getting 5 stacks on these enemy heroes pretty much at will. And that's a lot of poison damage, and that lasts for 5 seconds. Oh.
That awkward moment, Zex, when you get 1v1'd by Gazlo as Tyrion.
They do get a return kill on them, though. They did have 4 heroes top 3 after the Tyrael died, so I would have had, honestly, serious questions if they weren't able to secure that kill on that Gazlo. They do clean up the Punisher. Oh, that's a... God, that was a brilliant sleeping dart. Caught him just as he was trying to get around the corner, too. They are just cheesing this out so hard. Like, how do you deal with this comp?
The real tough part about this, X, is that while it's undeniably cheesy, the Gazlo all but confirms that, it's insanely effective as well. It's really shutting down any attempt that Soulless Black makes to try to turn things around or establish themselves in these team fights. And the one hope, there's the leap and the judgment off the top rope goes in on Dancing. The sound barrier, the shield is going to drop a lot of damage. There's the stun. Morales gets away with a slip person patched up, but then the horrify goes in. That's going to be the second takedown. Tyrael will drop. He's looking to hug somebody. It's not.
Ooh, nice bit of damage on a Squirrel Shun right there, but again, healers healing healers. So he just taps well, gets shot by Ana, and goes back out on his merry little way. And really, with all the... I was hoping for a sanctification, but Lucio goes down, and so does the Sonya. And if you'll notice, on the field, Ariel has taken a peculiar talent. If you look at the top lane, our Ariel has decided to go Resurrection.
Well, I dare say they're going to get some value out of that. With 8 takedowns to 2, they'll have the lion's share, their pick of the litter on people they want to try to resurrect and bring back to life, because people aren't necessarily making out of these team fights.
Oh, plan of action going in, scoping this stun out from the Zeromus, and he's just going to get popped in a hurry. Mitchie D's got a fair bit of damage on him. The hug hits 3. Sound barrier does come out. Plan of action still taking an awful lot of damage. This Gazlo just doesn't care about anything in general. The stim drone onto Squirrel Sean. The damage is now coming even faster. Oh my goodness. Sleeping dart onto 2. And look at all those turrets.
Well, when you have 3 supports, you don't necessarily need ancestral healing on Rhaegar, so they're going to go ahead and go for Bloodlust, which got its due share of value along with as well as Stim Drone on Raynor. I mean, Squirrel Sean just turned into a freaking machine gun out of nowhere. Again, Zex, we find ourselves less than 10 minutes of the game watching Ricks of the Kids seize in early.
Yes, this is definitely spiraled out of control. This is a 3-level lead on the side of Rixer for Kids, and there's really no stopping them. The Squirrel Shawn is taking a fair bit of damage, gets the heal. Morales is low on energy. They might actually have to back out of this. The Hyperion does come out right there. Plan of action doing his best to throw that Fell Flame out there and just hopefully get them out of here. But he's got to be careful. One Sleeping Dart, and he will absolutely die.
Yeah, that's definitely a precarious situation for Soulless Black, to say the very least. Level 16 is around the corner, as 13 is now on the horizon for Soulless Black. A potential 2-tier advantage. No one has yet gone back for the shrine at the top lane of all things, which is extremely unfortunate for Soulless Black. If this Punisher gets picked up by Rixer for Kids, that bad boy is going to be walking directly to the core.
And that explains the huge amount of aggression coming out of Soulless Black. Oh, they got Raynor. Good on Soulless Black right there. Nice little heads up. They literally took away all the damage. The stun from Tyrael does come out, but Gul'dan gets exploded in the back line. There goes their damage. Bloodlust does come out. Domstrosity running for his life at this point. With the stim-droned Gazlowe bearing down on him. Can he even get a punch off? No, not really. They expect a boop and a detainment strike, maybe. But that didn't even really dissuade. Oh, this is a very big, dangerous spot for Domstrosity. He manages to get away right there.
You gotta question life, Zex, if you're running away from a stim-drone Gazlowe. How did I get here? That's the immediate thought running through my mind. If the tactical decision, the right call, is to run away from a stim drone Gazlowe.
You hear that record scratch and the scene pauses. Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got into this position. Oh, God, that's such a zone of death right there. 4 multi-hitting turrets down. Ooh, Zergling is in a bit of trouble right there. The Ana not looking too healthy. Might have a... Oh, Zeromus is going down. Tyrael gets the kill. But once again, healers healing healers. That's Triple H for the night.
There's such a narrow margin of success for Soulless Black. If you don't get that burst and coordinate their heroics in the near perfect way, they're going to see how bars get patched up almost immediately by triple support composition. And then Morales specializes single target healing. So the moment you try to focus someone down, there's going to be that response. Thankfully, they don't have to worry about ancestral healing, but Bloodlust is getting a decent amount of value, all things considered, thanks to this Raynor and Gazzy.
And that Bloodlust also like massively benefits Ana as well. Like with that increased attack speed, she hits targets quicker and applies more to her trait, and she does go concentrating doses at 16. So for every stack of Shrike she has on enemy heroes, she gets 10% extra healing. That's terrifying at this point with as much attack speed as they're gonna have. Like, I don't think they do a good job of pulling the... Well, they tried to pull the Punisher over to that mid-keep. Stun goes out. Nice cleanse onto the Tyrael, but Sound Barrier does come out, keeping them in the fight for a bit longer. They're doing a pretty good job of pushing this back. Dan Clan having to go back. Focus the Morales, Soulless Black says, but it's not working out as the core falls. And that is Rixer for Kids taking the Division 1 Chair League title in convincing fashion right there.
The perfect record. Like you said, they only dropped, what, 1 game all season? That is impressive, to say the very least. They've earned those gray shirts. Congratulations to Rixer for Kids. Soulless Black put up a heck of a fight, but I think the interesting thing about Chair League is that whenever a new hero comes out, they're available day 1. And there can be instances where there are these weird synergies that you don't necessarily have a response for yet because you're out on the frontier, the cutting edge. Conceptually, Morales and Anne are going to be a really weird pairing to deal with because their weaknesses are entirely canceled by the other. You focus on one, Morales patches Anna up. You focus on Morales, Anna turns around and is like, I can do the same thing. And all the while, you got a stem drone, bloodlusted Gazlo chipping away at you with the increased melee damage off of the Robo Goblin. It's weird. It's just weird to deal with.
Yeah, it's what like we called it at the start. It was a cheesy draft. You know, some hipster in New York, you know, copied that's making sandwiches out of it now. That's how cheesy it was. Like, that was just absolutely insane, and how well that worked out. Like, the only time any of them were in danger was when someone got caught out solo. Gazlo got caught out solo. Raynor got caught out solo. And still, they couldn't capitalize on the, like, especially in the case of Raynor, they tried to engage right after, and they still came out second best in that fight, even with their main DPS completely off the board. So just incredible coordination out of Rixer for Kids right there. And congrats to them on an undefeated season. It was a lot of fun casting them this year. So, and thank you, Halorin, for joining us tonight. I greatly appreciate you taking the time out of your fight with the devil.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to beat Cuphead tonight. I think I can do it. But no, man, it was my pleasure. Thanks for having me. Thanks to DJ Tyrant for obsing for us tonight. I really appreciate that. Makes life easy. And thanks to the teams that participated in Chair League this season. I think I've always been a huge fan of Chair League. It's a great community effort, great way to make friends, get involved, and one of the best recreational sources of Heroes of the Storm entertainment around. So thanks to you guys.
So, and speaking of Chair League, we're now going into the off season here at Chair League, and we here at Nexus Commentaries kind of grown accustomed to casting games here on Thursday nights. So what we have decided to do is keep casting. And how are we doing that, you ask? We're starting our own league. We are starting what we are going to call the Rec League. So I have to pull that up real quick because I moved it right before like a dork. Nexus Commentary stuff. There we go. Transition over. We have picked 6 teams that we have been impressed with in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's been coordination, they were just like funny to us and had, you know, pretty decent showing when we casted them. But we're going to be casting starting 8 p.m. October 12th, 2 games a night for the next 5 weeks, and then after that, we'll have a powwow and see if we want to keep going, if we want to add more teams, if we want to run a kind of a tournament of sorts. We'll even have record tracking, so wins, losses, total map score, stuff like that. We'll have stat tracking on players and their positions. So you'll get to see who is, you know, doing the most work as a healer, who's doing the most work as, you know, the front line, tanks, stuff like that. So this has been about a month and a half of me just grinding away at this with help from the other Nexus Commentary guys. And we're really excited to put this on. We hope you keep coming back here to Nexus Commentaries every Thursday, you know, 8 p.m. to come out, root these teams on. You know, everyone has a favorite here. Personally, my favorite is U-Face Braxis. They're always a fun team to cast. They always come out with some really innovative ideas. Rixer for Kids, obviously, is another favorite of mine. 2+2, Sky 5, Trog Squad, and AD Easy. We also wanted to get a mix of teams in there between Division 1 and Division 2. I feel a lot of these teams would be competitive against each other, as we saw a couple weeks ago when Rixer for Kids had an opponent no-show, and we had U-Face Braxis playing. And that was actually and U-Face Braxis was... they didn't win Division 2, but they went the regular season undefeated. and they ended up, I believe they ended up eliminating Kai Berry's team, the Lizard Wizards.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they looked really, really strong in that game. So, and when they played Rixer for Kids, you could tell there was a bit of a skill gap, but it didn't emerge until the late game. They stayed competitive pretty much the entire game. So that was part of the inspiration. It's like, well, not all these teams are in the same division, so they might not play. So why don't we just make our own off-season league and throw them at each other? So again, everyone, thank you for watching tonight. Watching the D1 finals. We hope you stop back next Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And any final thoughts, Lauren?
No. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it. It was cool. I had fun.
All right. Until next Thursday, everyone, much love and Kappa.
Stay tight.
I knew you were going to get that in there.